Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming to my presentation on video editing software as a learning tool. Specifically, I'll be focusing on using Adobe Premiere Pro. Um, I just want to mention that this work is licensed under the Creative Commons, and I've posted that inside our chat. I've been using Premiere Pro professionally for about 3 years. In fact, I've used it for previous course assignments in our PIDP, so that's kind of cool. I worked in robotics for many years, first as a mechanic, then as a trainer to other robotic mechanics, and finally as a lead technical trainer for the entire organization. I did realize quickly that my written documentation with photos and walkthroughs were being ignored, and that meant that I needed to engage my learners in a different way. That new way of presenting technical information was video training. I worked with Apple iMovie for a time and used a couple of free online tools, but they didn't have the depth that I required. So after some research, I landed on Adobe Premiere Pro. I didn't know Mayer's principles of multimedia learning at the time, but his modality principle applies heavily in what I was doing to change my teaching strategies. I'm paraphrasing and simplifying here, but visuals and text are fine for some, but students are very engaged in learning when there are visuals and especially voice to accompany those visuals. Now, many learners are overwhelmed by reams of text, but remember, you still need the text material to accompany the video learning for reference, especially if you're using it for a written assignment. Now, in a video presentation, using text should be done sparingly, but we must remember that we need to be accessible to all types of learners. So most video editing programs, including Adobe Premiere Pro, offer closed captioning to assist those that are deaf and hard of hearing. I'll show that to you in a minute. Storytelling is a large component of our teaching. Now, I'm always using examples from my own experience to further enhance the development of my learners. Video allows us to record those moments and save them for perpetuity. Here's the thing. A well-edited video can be a very effective teaching tool. There are many examples online that show this to be true. The US government website for the National Library of Medicine has many essays about the use of video, such as Cynthia J. Brahm's Effective Educational Videos. In this essay, there's a focus on cognitive load, which ties into Mayer's modality principle, where memory of the combination of what we see and hear play a huge role in our learning. Student engagement showing that YouTube has become a major factor in learning, and that the shorter the video, the more they watch of the total content. That's huge. And finally, active learning, where she quotes Schachter and Sbunar on self-regulation learning via video. So when learners participate in learning by watching, they discover their own difficulties, focus on areas to practice metacognition. They can also be asked questions at the end of videos to help them search out their own answers or research focused subjects in further detail. Now, as we look at Adobe Premiere Pro, I want to reiterate that video should not replace live in-person training, but it is an excellent component for online blended and supplemental learning. So one of the best features of this software is the ability to shorten any portion of the video. It's known that adult learners are often very busy with kids, jobs, pets, partners, whatever. This means that the shorter the video is and the more focused it is, the more effective it is. There are many studies showing the longer the video, the less likely the viewer will stay to finish and may miss important info. MIT did a study and showed a significant drop-off in learning after the 12-minute mark. 12 minutes! I'm going to show you an example right now of editing using Adobe Premiere Pro. So I'm just going to share my screen quickly. There we go. Excellent. I mentioned before about closed captioning. That is here. We can add that at the end. We can do closed captioning for all of our video. Okay, so I have a video here with some audio. Just want to make sure that they're sharing the sound. Excellent. Here's me walking in. Hello, everyone. I'm looking to find the total resistance of the circuit. Now, where should I start? I have no idea. I think I can start by first editing the beginning of this video so that it is not going to be too long from the start. Hello everyone. I'm looking to find the total resistance of the circuit. But here, I just stand there and talk to myself for quite a while. So, let's see. I'm going to go back, cut it again, where I started pondering the orb, and then get back to I'm going to use a portion of the video that's super important. All that other stuff wasn't. Okay, so I'm going to move this back. Excellent. How to solve this circuit. So I equals E over R. Nice. So I've isolated what I want to do. So I'm going to cut that off. I'm pretty sure this is me standing around talking. I should go with this. Forgive me, I'm touching the chair. But I know. Let's stop here. Cut. Go back to our cursor. Cut this portion here. And voila. Now, equals E over R. I'm going to start by dividing 8 volts into 3 ohms, and that's going to give me the total amperage for my circuit. Nobody wants to see me on a calculator, so I am going to, again, cut a portion of that, and then cut the portion before I talk again. Move this back. And now let's play the complete video. Hello everyone. I'm looking to find the total resistance of the circuit. I'm going to use Ohm's law to solve this circuit. So I equals E over R. I'm going to start by dividing 8 volts into 3 ohms, and that's going to give me the total amperage for my circuit. I get 2.67 amps. Look at that. Amazing. So the reason I enjoy the editing so much is that I can do this without worrying about it too much. I can get rid of all the superfluous information. I'm going to close my project. And I'm going to open a new project. And I'll show you some of the other stuff. So there are other ways we can use editing to engage our learner. When we have a so-called talking head in front of you, you can add visuals to the video to accompany the speaker, or even overlay appropriate visuals. So the speaker is audio only. In fact, you can even delete audio from your speakers and put it in the source audio. It's pretty amazing. I just want to show you a couple things here. Still sharing my screen. Now, humanistic education theory. Now, humanism is a philosophical model. Stop sharing my sound. So you can see I'm now using visuals to accompany my presentations. So it's super important that we have that kind of ability. Here I've got a definition, obviously. But if I move forward, I have Rogers and Maslow, 2 heavyweights of the 60s in philosophy and psychological states. Okay, but if I keep moving forward, I'm going to pause it for a second. I'm going to share my sound again. Awesome. Now I can actually incorporate video into my projects. So I'm going to show you that. Favorite television and movie franchises, Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek repeatedly uses a humanistic approach.
The acquisition of wealth is no longer the driving force in our lives. We work to better ourselves and the rest of humanity.
It's clear that I don't know if you noticed, but I also have been including lots of fading. If you take a look down here, I'm going to blow this up a little bit. There's fade outs, fade ins, and fade outs for audio as well. So let me stop sharing here. So Knoll's 5 assumptions of adult learners basically says that adults want to learn on their own terms and have learned many techniques for their own learning. This means that video can be a very effective tool to get your information across while giving the learner the freedom to not have to participate in a live classroom session for a myriad of reasons. Now, video also allows learners to replay difficult to understand subject matter repeatedly without interrupting a classroom setting. I'm teaching adults now in person and often have a very finite amount of time for lessons and or questions. While I would love to stop everything and help someone through a really difficult focused question, often it isn't possible or fair to the other learners. I have started to consider the value of recording my lessons and then editing them for time and tangent. This will allow me to have a record for any students that wish to revisit certain ideas, concepts, and relearning. Adobe Premiere Pro as a video editing software can be used for lessons, but can also be used for questions. At the end of a short video, or for the whole video for that matter, you can pose questions that the students can answer either by text-based media or even videos of themselves. This promotes active learning and participation. Students will usually have the equipment to record themselves in a basic setting, which means that as a teacher, I can take their feedback or answers, use Adobe, edit a video that can be used as a resource for all of my students, or as a way to evaluate those students, especially when doing comparison reviews between learning at the beginning of the course and towards the end of the same course. While it is essential to have good solid video for teaching and learning, don't forget that we must use all the tools available to us in different forms of media to enhance our information. The more that we can actively engage with our students, the better. Video editing software like Adobe Premiere Pro is a terrific way of using existing the material you have and then editing, enhancing it both visually and audibly to serve a greater purpose in your teaching method by embracing portions of Meyer's principles of multimedia learning. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm going to post my reference really quick with screen share. Just 1 second. Here we go. These are my Creative Commons license as well as my references. I'm also going to post these all in the chat right now. Too long. There you go. Thank you very much for joining me today and have a great day. Thank you.